The anime begins by introducing a man named Noor, who is a lowest-ranking adventurer, ranked F. At that time, Noor was cleaning a drainage ditch clogged with mud. After finishing the cleaning, Noor received a reward from an elderly woman, who thanked him. Noor then proceeded to his next task, performing with enthusiasm. In fact, Noor always received praise from everyone who gave him a mission. One day, Noor heard a woman's voice calling for help from inside a cave. Because of this, he immediately ran to the location and saw a girl being attacked by a minotaur monster. The scene suddenly shifts to the past, precisely 14 years earlier. A house is shown in the western region of the Kingdom of Clays, where the young Noor is preparing a potion for his sick mother. After giving his mother the medicine, Noor got ready to feed the goats on the hill. However, his mother asked him not to go past the barrier behind the rock. At that moment, she seemed to sense something, and she told Noor to live his life the way he wanted. As night fell, Noor had just finished all his tasks and, upon arriving home, immediately made soup for his mother. However, when he brought it to his mother's room, Noor panicked upon discovering that she had passed away. The next day, Noor buried his mother beside his father's grave. At that moment, in front of his parents' graves, Noor promised not to cry anymore and to live his life well. Since then, Noor carried on with his activities at home, including hunting, tending to the livestock, and cleaning the messy house. He also read books occasionally to alleviate his boredom. While eating the soup he made, Noor reminisced a bit about his parents. One night, Noor found a book that his late father used to read to him. Back then, Noor's father often told him stories, one of which was about an adventurer doing many things with his friends, including defeating villains for the sake of the weak. Noor remembered these stories and was deeply impressed by the adventurer's way of life, leading him to decide what he wanted to do next. The next day, Noor sought permission from his parents' graves, stating that he would go to the capital to become an adventurer. After some time traveling, Noor encountered the barrier his mother had once mentioned, but now he was determined to cross it and head to the capital. However, the journey was quite long, and Noor felt a bit scared while alone in the forest at night. Finally, the next morning, Noor arrived at the capital of the Kingdom of Clays, where he immediately entered the city center to go to the Adventurers Guild. Upon arriving, Noor was amazed by the bustling atmosphere of the city he had never visited before. Then he went into the Adventurers Guild where he met the man registering adventurers, named Mr. Bob. At first, Mr. Bob told Noor to leave, saying that this place wasn't for children. He also mentioned that Noor shouldn't make his parents worry. However, Noor explained that his parents had passed away, which prompted Mr. Bob to decide to talk with him. Mr. Bob then informed Noor that there were conditions for registering as an adventurer in the capital, including attending lessons at the training center. Though no children had ever participated in the training before, Mr. Bob explained that at the training center, Noor would be trained by instructors and would work towards acquiring a job. Additionally, Mr. Bob told Noor to gain some skills first before registering with the Adventurers Guild. Taking Mr. Bob's advice, Noor went to the Swordsman Training Center because he had heard of a swordsman who could kill a dragon with a single sword swing. After that, Noor began training with the people there and witnessed a man awaken his skill at that place. However, a few months later, Noor was still training with a wooden sword. Eventually, the trainer there, named Sig, asked Noor to stop, saying that his time would be wasted if he continued this way. During his time at the training center, Noor only managed to learn the skill of parrying to avoid fatal attacks. At the same time, Sig advised Noor to choose a different path where he might be able to acquire skills in another training program. Eventually, Noor went to the Warrior Training Center. At that place, Noor underwent rigorous training there again. However, after a few months, Noor failed to acquire any skills and only slightly increased his physical strength. Eventually, the warrior trainer warned that if Noor kept pushing himself, he could end up dead. Sometime later, Noor went to the Hunter Training Center, but again, he lacked the talent to use the weapons required by hunters. Noor then tried the Thief Training Center, but he had no talent for being a spy or scout because he couldn't even sense someone's presence. Still, Noor didn't give up and went to the Wizard Training Center. Unfortunately, Noor could only produce a small fire spell after several months of training. Finally, Noor tried the healing training, but after a few months, he failed again because he could only heal minor wounds. Noor then thanked the trainer for teaching him healing skills, even though he had failed all the training classes. In the end, Noor returned to Mr. Bob and informed him of his failures. Hearing this, Mr. Bob was puzzled as to why Noor hadn't obtained a job after struggling for 3 months in each training. With some sadness, Mr. Bob finally said that Noor couldn't register with the Adventurers Guild without any skills. Sometime later, Noor returned home in a gloomy mood. He went to his parents' graves and said that he truly lacked any talent. Unexpectedly, Noor did not give up. He declared that if he had no talent, he would keep training continuously to achieve his goal. Noor then began training with a sword, while recalling Sig's words that if he continued to practice one skill, he might acquire a new one. Because of this, Noor decided to use the parry skill, as it was the only skill he had gained during swordsman training. Eventually, Noor trained tirelessly day and night. 1 year later, Noor was able to parry 10 swords in a single breath. 3 years later, he could parry 100 swords in a single breath. After that, Noor continued his relentless training, breaking many swords in the process. Apparently, Noor endured this training for the next 14 years until he could parry 1,000 swords in a single breath, yet he still had not acquired a new skill. The next day, Noor decided to try registering as an adventurer one last time, where he went back to the Adventurers Guild and submitted a list of the skills he possessed. At that moment, the receptionist asked if those were the only skills Noor had, and he confirmed this. Therefore, the receptionist informed him about the training centers in the capital. However, Noor mentioned that he had already attended all those training sessions. Realizing that he might truly be unable to register, he began to feel desperate. Shortly after, Mr. Bob arrived and asked Noor not to disturb his staff. Seeing this, Noor greeted Mr. Bob, and he eventually recognized the man in front of him as Noor. At that moment, Noor explained that he had been practicing the parry skill for years. Hearing this, Mr. Bob told Noor that the highest rank for adventurers was S, and the lowest was E. But even to reach rank E, one needed to have many skills, making it quite challenging. Unfortunately, Noor didn't have those skills, so Mr. Bob informed him that there was one rank lower than E. Noor became excited upon hearing this. It turned out the lowest rank was F, but rank F was almost unheard of among adventurers. Additionally, missions for rank F had specific conditions that the adventurers of this rank could only accept missions within the city. Mr. Bob then mentioned that no adventurer wanted to become an errand runner for the city, so rank F was nearly forgotten. Despite this, Noor still wanted to register as a rank F adventurer. Finally, Mr. Bob issued Noor an adventurer's license for rank F, which made Noor very happy. From that point on, Noor always accepted missions from the townspeople. He used his skills to help them with tasks such as lifting heavy objects and finding lost cats. Every evening, Noor continued to train diligently with his sword. He even took on missions to care for sick, elderly people. Despite this, Noor appeared very happy living his days, as his dream of being useful to others had now come true. In the present, Noor saw a girl being attacked by a minotaur, which was rampaging and killing many people who were trying to protect the girl, whose name was Lynn. The minotaur even advanced and killed a knight with a single strike. Seeing this, Noor tried to save the knight, but it was too late. On the other hand, the soldiers who tried to restrain the monster were quickly killed, leaving only Lynn. Fortunately, Noor was able to save Lynn from the monster's attack, using his parry skill to deflect the monster's blows, knowing that if he were hit even once, he would surely die. However, Noor could only parry and, despite looking for an opening, he had no ability to attack. When the monster tried to attack Lynn again, Noor saved her by blocking the attack until his sword broke. In that critical moment, Noor remembered his father's words and used his parry skill, causing the monster's weapon to rebound and strike its own neck. This killed the minotaur, seemingly by chance. This made Noor feel downcast, as he realized he was too weak to fight even a minotaur. While Lynn thanked him and wanted to know the name of the man who saved her. Unfortunately, Noor felt insignificant and quickly left. As Noor walked through the city, he felt extremely frustrated by the earlier incident. Therefore, he resolved to continue his training again and again. Sometime later, the knights were investigating the minotaur's corpse while Lynn bowed and thanked the knights who had died protecting her. From the investigation, it was found that the minotaur Noor had defeated was a high-level monster. Moments later, Ines, the personal guard of the royal clays, approached Lynn with a panicked expression, saying that she should have been there. However, Lynn explained that bringing a guard would make the throne test meaningless. Lynn apologized, feeling that she had greatly worried Ines. At the same time, another knight arrived and requested Lynn to meet Rain, who was Lynn's older brother. Meanwhile, at Rain's location, he was seen talking to a knight who was investigating the incident inside the cave. The knight reported that the minotaur that attacked Lynn was likely summoned by someone, even though the monster was a high-level air-rank demon typically found only in the deepest underground layers. The knight also informed Rain about a ring found on the corpse, which most likely had summoned the minotaur. The knight was investigating the ring together with a wizard named Oaken. Upon examination, Oaken stated that the gem used in the ring had a very high mana purity, not something that could be found in the market. According to Oaken's research, the ring originated from the Deridas Empire. Hearing this, Rain concluded that Deridas was trying to provoke the Clay's kingdom into a war, as they were eager to seize Clay's dungeon. Rain was then informed about Noor, who was said to have killed the Minotaur within seconds, yet the secret forces couldn't track down his whereabouts. The next day, Noor came to the guild and met Mr. Bob, who seemed relieved to see Noor still alive, as the monster attack in the dungeon yesterday was near the location of his last mission. However, Noor, with his innocent expression, was shocked by the story and mentioned that he had been followed by suspicious people last night and had to escape from them. Apparently, Noor was actually being tracked by the Clay's Kingdom's secret forces. Mr. Bob then continued to say that Noor was lucky not to encounter any monsters in the dungeon. But Noor, imagining the monster as a fierce beast, only considered the Minotaur from yesterday as a large bull. Mr. Bob also mentioned that the monster was defeated by a mysterious person with a single strike. Hearing this, Noor thought that person must be someone else with great power. After that, Mr. Bob gave Noor his payment for the previous day's work. While Mr. Bob and Noor were talking, a hooded woman suddenly appeared behind Noor. Seeing this, Mr. Bob seemed to recognize the person as Princess Lynn, who had managed to track Noor using her thief skill. As a result, Noor was impressed and considered Lynn's skills to be extraordinary, but she thought otherwise, believing her skills were basic compared to Noor's power. Realizing that the place was too crowded to talk, Lynn invited Noor to speak outside. Hearing this, Mr. Bob reminded Noor not to make any foolish mistakes. While walking out, Lynn revealed that she had a skill that could conceal their presence. Once they reached a secluded spot, Lynn deactivated her skill and began talking to Noor. Apparently, Lynn wanted to properly thank Noor for saving her life. She also mentioned that Noor not only saved her, but also many people in the kingdom. However, Noor considered this an exaggeration and refused any reward. However, Lynn insisted and wanted to introduce Noor to her father. She even started crying because Noor kept refusing her request. Finally, Noor remembered when he once asked a trainer to train him, so he agreed to meet her father. Lynn then used her concealment skill again to take Noor to her house. Shortly after, Noor followed behind Lynn and eventually arrived at her family's home. At the same time, Noor understood Mr. Bob's warning not to make any foolish mistakes, as he realized that Lynn was a noble. Upon entering, Ines appeared and asked Lynn about the man behind her. Lynn explained that Noor was her savior, but Ines was surprised and remained cautious of Noor due to his unkempt appearance. On the way to King Clay's room, another royal guard named Gilbert appeared and pointed his staff at Noor's face. Gilbert acknowledged that Noor was Lynn's savior, but remarked that he looked ordinary. At the same time, Ines was still very wary of Noor's strength, so she asked Gilbert to help escort them. Meanwhile, in King Clay's room, the king was seen talking with Rain about the upcoming visit of King Deridas. Apparently, the kingdom of Deridas wanted the kingdom of Clays to surrender the dungeon in their territory, but it seemed that King Clays refused, prompting King Deridas to prepare a nefarious plan. However, Rain believed that King Deridas' threats were not just idle words. Shortly after, Lynn arrived with Noor and introduced him to her father and brother. Noor immediately apologized for his unkempt appearance, explaining that Lynn had brought him there unexpectedly. He also mentioned that he wasn't a noble, so he didn't know the proper etiquette for interacting with nobility. Seeing this, King Clays laughed and said that this made it easier to talk to Noor. King Clays then thanked Noor for saving his daughter's life. Noor accepted the gratitude and thought of leaving immediately. However, King Clays wanted to reward Noor and offered him land or money. Unfortunately, Noor had no desire for such a reward. but the king still wanted to give him something from the dungeon's treasure. Noor continued to refuse until King Clays thought of giving him his old sword, as the king had retired and the sword was now just a decoration. Noor finally accepted the sword and was a bit surprised by its weight. He also noticed Rain's disapproving look, but King Clays insisted that it was just a small gift, so Noor had to accept it. At that moment, Noor still didn't realize that King Clays was the ruler of the kingdom he lived in. When Noor tried to swing the sword, it produced a significant effect, making King Clays laugh, seeing Noor wield the sword with one hand. King Clays then asked Noor to train Lynn if he was willing. However, Noor said that he had nothing to teach her, and that the decision should be hers. King Clays laughed again, agreeing that there was some truth in Noor's words. After that, Noor took his leave, thinking about using the sword as a tool to clean drainage ditches. Later, Ines approached Noor and apologized for her earlier demeanor. Seeing Noor's humble behavior, Ines smiled and introduced herself as the deputy commander of the Clays family forces. Additionally, she was also known as the Holy Shield. Ines then expressed her deep gratitude for saving her master, Lynn. Without hesitation, she told Noor that she would help him anytime he needed assistance. She also reminded Noor that his behavior in King Clay's room was quite inappropriate, and Noor became slightly panicked upon hearing this warning. After chatting with Noor, it was Gilbert's turn to appear, and he surprisingly wanted to fight. It turned out, Gilbert wanted to see Noor's true strength after hearing that he defeated a Minotaur with a single strike. Gilbert then invited Noor to the training grounds of the Clay's Kingdom warriors. At that moment, he grabbed a spear and asked Noor to choose a weapon to fight him. Upon inspection, Noor picked a wooden sword, feeling déjà vu as it reminded him of his time at the Swordsman Training Center 14 years ago. Finally, the battle began, where Gilbert immediately attacked Noor, but he was able to dodge all of Gilbert's attacks. Noor even felt that Gilbert's movements were too slow and said that Gilbert was holding back his strength. Therefore, in the middle of the fight, Noor asked Gilbert not to hold back. Hearing this, Gilbert smiled and began to attack Noor seriously, using new, almost unpredictable, and much faster moves. Even so, Noor still managed to dodge his attacks, although he acknowledged that Gilbert was much faster. Noor then praised his attacks but reminded Gilbert that his strikes left him slightly vulnerable. Noor's words made Gilbert angry, so he used his ultimate move against him. Surprisingly, Noor was still able to avoid Gilbert's attack, leaving Gilbert utterly confused and shocked, as Noor was the first person to do so. Despite this, Noor suddenly conceded defeat and left immediately. On his way home, Noor realized that Gilbert's final attack was very dangerous and recognized that he had undergone extensive training and battles to reach his position. Meanwhile, Gilbert was gloomy in the training room, especially after hearing his men talking about Noor's prowess, even though they had previously underestimated him. Gilbert then recalled his past when he roamed, seeking worthy opponents. However, no one could match his skill with the spear or defeat him in battle. Eventually, Gilbert decided to join the Clay's Kingdom army to find worthy opponents and earn money. In a short time, Gilbert rose to the position of captain of the Royal Army due to his exceptional spear fighting skills. However, this made Gilbert bored of being the strongest. Finally, Sig, Noor's former teacher at the Swordsman Training Center, came to greet him. It turned out that Sig was a general in the Clay's Kingdom. At that moment, Sig asked who was stronger between Ines and Gilbert, where Gilbert replied that Ines had different strengths, but he was confident he would win if they fought. After that, Gilbert asked why Sig chose to become a teacher instead of fighting alongside him to end the war against the Derrida's kingdom. Sig explained that he couldn't win the war alone, or even with a few strong knights like Ines and Gilbert. Therefore, Sig preferred to teach the younger generation of the Clay's kingdom, so they could defend the kingdom. He also believed that eventually, someone stronger than him would emerge to end the war. After recalling moments with Sig, Gilbert returned to the training arena and was surprised to see the floor damaged by Noor's previous movements. Gilbert was puzzled by how Noor did it, but he also believed that Noor might be the person capable of surpassing Sig. On the other hand, Noor was seen using the sword given by King Clays to clean the drainage ditches. At that moment, Noor was amazed that the sword didn't get dirty or damaged, making his work easier. While Noor was resting at the edge of the forest, Lynn suddenly appeared and asked him to be her teacher. However, Noor refused, prompting Lynn to display her magic, including water, fire, and the sacred magic of the swordsman that could precisely cut down a large tree. Despite this, Noor still declined, insisting he had nothing to teach her. Lynn then said she would show another spell recognized by the instructors from all training centers to convince Noor to be her teacher, as she felt she wasn't as skilled as him. Hearing this, Noor demonstrated his magic, which only produced a small fireball, explaining that this was the extent of his magical ability. Therefore, Noor continued to refuse to be Lynn's teacher, feeling unworthy. Sometime later, Lynn was seen walking through the city. She then recalled rumors about a boy who had completed all the training courses in just 3 months at each training center. Initially, Lynn didn't believe it, much like many others who thought the rumor was false. However, the instructors insisted that the boy truly existed. Even Master Wizard Oaken, who was also Noor's former teacher at the Wizard Training Center, once told Lynn that the boy could produce high-level fire magic, a tiny fireball the size of a fingertip, with incredible precision and density. Surprisingly, the technique Oaken described was the same one Noor had demonstrated earlier. This meant that Noor could indeed perform high-level magic, even larger than what Oaken had seen. Thus, Lynn became convinced that the magical boy the instructor spoke of 14 years ago was Noor, who had saved her. That night, Lynn visited Noor again and directly addressed him as teacher, and the story continued. Moral lesson from the story: even if you're only good at cleaning drains, you might still end up saving a princess from a minotaur. So, remember, being really good at one thing can sometimes make you a hero in unexpected ways.